There comes a moment in every life when the page must turn. When the old chapter, no matter how broken, how triumphant, how familiar, must give way to something new. And right now, in this very hour, you are standing on the threshold of that moment. A new chapter is being written. The ink is not dry. The pen is still in motion, and the author of your story has not stopped writing. You may look back and see pages filled with pain, failure, or things that didn't go the way you thought they would. Maybe there were dreams that shattered, relationships that ended, doors that closed. But none of those things disqualify you from what's ahead. In fact, they prepared you. They humbled you. They built the character in you necessary for where you're about to go. A new chapter is not a continuation of the old. It's not a repeat. It's not a remix. It's a divine shift. The scenery will change. The characters may change. Your mindset must change. You can't enter this new chapter carrying the same fear, doubt, and self-limiting beliefs that held you back before. They don't belong in the next paragraph of your life. You were not created to live stuck. You were not meant to be defined by what happened yesterday. Every ending contains a beginning. Every sunset sets the stage for a sunrise. The very fact that you're breathing means the author hasn't finished your story. The best pages haven't even been turned yet. You might not feel ready. You might not see how it could work. But faith doesn't require sight. It only requires a step. When you step out of the old and into the unknown, that's when the new begins. That's when walls come down and doors swing open. That's when grace meets you on the road and provision is waiting in the place you haven't arrived at yet. Celebrate what is becoming. The world needs what's inside you. There are words you haven't spoken, lives you haven't touched, visions you haven't seen. You weren't made to live in reruns. You were made for revelation. You weren't made to echo the past. You were made to carry a future no one else can carry. This new chapter has been appointed for such a time as this. It's not random. It's not by accident. It's a divine assignment. So lift your head. Take a breath. Let go of what's behind you and step boldly into what's ahead, because the page has turned. The ink is flowing and your new chapter has already begun. You must let go of the past to embrace what is ahead. Letting go to move forward, there is a sacred principle woven into the fabric of life itself. You cannot hold on to the past and fully embrace your future. You must choose one. You can't walk into tomorrow while your feet are chained to yesterday. For many of us, the greatest barrier to the new chapter God is trying to write is not the devil, not our enemies, not even our limitations. It's our unwillingness to let go. Letting go is not weakness. It is trust. It is a holy release. It's a declaration that says what has been will not control what will be. We often carry past failures like heavy luggage, dragging regret, shame, and disappointment with us in every new opportunity. But you weren't designed to live burdened. You were called to walk free. If you want to soar, you must drop what's been weighing you down. Sometimes it's not just the failures we must release, but even the successes. Some live in the glow of former victories and find it hard to see anything new God could possibly do. But God is not the God of once upon a time. He is the God of now. He is always moving forward. He said, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it?" The new thing requires that we stop rehearsing the old, that we close the door on what was so we can open the door to what could be. It's not easy. The past is familiar. It's comfortable. But comfort doesn't lead to greatness. Faith does. When the Israelites were delivered from Egypt, their bodies left the land of slavery, but their minds were still trapped. Every time things got hard, they looked back and said, "We should return." That's what fear does. It pulls you backward, but destiny pulls you forward. You can't walk into the promised land if you're still holding Egypt in your heart. Letting go might mean forgiving someone who hurt you, not for their sake, but for yours, so your soul can breathe again. It might mean laying down your own mistakes and receiving the mercy that's already been offered to you. It might mean surrendering your need to understand why something happened and trusting that even unanswered questions can be used for a greater purpose. When you let go, you make space. Space for healing, space for vision, space for the new chapter to be written. Holding on to the past keeps your hands full, but God wants to fill them with something better, something holy, something new. You can't embrace the sunrise if you keep staring at the night. You can't receive the next word if you won't stop rereading the last one. And you can't walk into a future filled with hope while you're tied to a past filled with pain. Today is not just another page. It's a turning point. It's a divine invitation. Let go. Release it. Trust that what's ahead is greater than what's behind, because your future is not behind you. It's waiting to be embraced. Your identity is not in what you've done, but in who you were created to be. Identity beyond the past, there is a powerful truth that can shift the entire direction of your life. You are not what you've done. You are who you were created to be. The world will try to name you by your mistakes, your failures, your pain. They'll point at your past and say, that's who you are. But the author of your life never names you by your wounds. He names you by your worth and false identity. They define themselves by what happened to them. They say, I'm broken, I'm forgotten, I'm just average, I'm too far gone. But that is not how your story was meant to be written. You were not born to be bound by shame. You were not created to be buried beneath labels the world gave you. You were formed with purpose, fashioned with greatness in your DNA. We often accept the names life gives us. Rejected, addict, failure, unwanted. But those names are not your calling. Your creator calls you something else? Chosen, redeemed, valuable, victorious. It's time to stop answering to what you're not and start living as who you truly are. The enemy doesn't fear your past. He fears you realizing your identity. Because once you know who you are, you'll no longer settle for what you're not. When you awaken to your true identity, you begin to walk in confidence, not confusion. You begin to live with intention, not insecurity. Think of a seed. A seed doesn't look like much. It's small. It's hidden. People might overlook it. But inside that seed is the blueprint of a mighty tree. It doesn't become great by accident. It becomes great by design. And so it is with you. You may feel small. You may feel buried. But buried is not the same as forgotten. In the right season, the seed breaks open, and what was hidden becomes undeniable. Your past does not disqualify you. If anything, it's a setup. The greatest stories often begin in the darkest places. Redemption is real. Transformation is possible. But it starts with knowing who you are. You are not your scars. You are not your struggle. You are a masterpiece in process, a testimony in the making. Even when people try to remind you of your old name, don't answer. You're not that person anymore. The moment you recognize who you truly are is the moment the enemy loses power. Your identity is not determined by your performance. It's determined by your purpose. And your purpose didn't begin the day you got it all right. It began the moment you were breathed into existence. You don't have to earn your identity. You inherit it. You were created in the image of something far greater than this world could offer. That means your value isn't fragile. It can't be stolen. It can't be diminished by mistakes. It can't be erased by failure. What was spoken over you in eternity is stronger than what was spoken against you in time. So walk boldly, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. The next chapter of your life isn't about striving to become someone new. It's about stepping fully into who you've always been. It's time to leave behind the lies, lay down the false names, embrace your true identity. Because when you know who you are, nothing can stop you from becoming all you were meant to be. Every ending is not a tombstone, it's a doorway. There are moments in life when something ends. A relationship falls apart. A dream slips through your fingers. A chapter closes that you thought would last forever. In those moments, it feels final. It feels like loss, like death. We grieve the ending. We question our decisions. We wonder if we've missed our one chance at something good. It's easy to stand over the broken pieces and mistake them for ruins when, in truth, they're the foundation of what comes next. But endings are not always tombstones. They're not always reminders of what died or what was lost. Sometimes they're doorways, silent invitations into the next thing. You see, you cannot begin something new while clinging tightly to the old. Just like a seed must break to grow, something must be surrendered for something greater to take its place. The challenge is, we are conditioned to fear endings. We avoid them. We mourn them. But we don't often recognize that many of the greatest transformations in history began with something ending. The wilderness ends, and a promised land begins. Night ends, and light breaks in. Even winter must give way to spring. But in the middle of it, in that sacred in-between, we are tempted to give up. We mistake transition for failure. We think silence means abandonment. But sometimes the greatest miracles are growing quietly, invisibly beneath the surface. Think of a door. A closed door can look like rejection, like limitation. But a door also has a handle. It isn't just something that shuts you out. It's something that can be opened. You might be standing at a door right now, uncertain of what's on the other side, but you're not meant to stay there forever. You're meant to walk through it. Even if you don't know what's waiting, trust that the one who leads you knows the way. Often we try to hold on to things long past their season. We cling to friendships that no longer feed us, jobs that no longer challenge us, routines that no longer serve us. But just because something once was right doesn't mean it still is. What brought you this far may not be what takes you the rest of the way. And that's not a failure, it's growth. Change feels like loss, but it's really preparation. The ending you're grieving may be the very thing that's making room for something better. Sometimes it's the closing of one chapter that gives birth to a better story. And in every story, the turning point is the moment when the character decides to step into the unknown, to move forward, not backward. That's where you are. You're at a turning point, and you don't have to fear it. You may feel like your plans have fallen apart, but perhaps it's not that they've fallen apart. It's that they're falling into place. Sometimes we must let go of what's good so we can receive what's great. Every chapter of your life has a purpose, but some are shorter than others. That doesn't mean they were less valuable. It means they did their job. Look at the pages behind you with gratitude, not regret, because they brought you here. But don't camp in yesterday. Don't keep rereading the last paragraph. There's more ahead. There's always more. This new chapter is not just something that's happening to you. It's something being written through you. Your story isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning. The pen is still in the hand of the author, and he hasn't stopped writing. So lift your eyes, take a deep breath, and walk through the doorway. Because what looks like an end may just be the start of the most powerful chapter yet. You are not who you were. You are becoming who you're meant to be. There's a powerful truth we often overlook as we journey through life. We are not fixed, finished beings. Who you are today is not the full picture. You don't have to have the whole path mapped out. You just need to be willing to take the first step. We've been trained by fear to hesitate, trained by disappointment to shrink back, and trained by failure to believe that false start means final stop. But that's not the truth. What lies ahead is not just different, it's greater. There's a temptation to think that the next chapter in life will simply be a continuation of the last, just more of the same. We often settle for the idea that the future will be a recycled version of the past with a few minor edits.